How do you know if it's time to move on? I love this girl, but I'm not sure if she's the one.
Well, it depends on how long you've been together. If you've been dating 2 or 3 years and you're not that into it, because typically most guys settle. I mean, the reality is most men never feel like they got the quality of woman that they deserved, that they clicked with on all levels. And, if you're 2, 3, 4 years in a relationship and you're not feeling like you want to get married, and especially if you're dating a woman who's younger than you, the, the best thing to do is to not stay in the relationship. But the other thing to keep in mind is the infatuation period and the honeymoon period typically only lasts about 6 to 12 months. And then after that, really, it's most of being in a relationship, if you're married or you're living together, is really just to is just learning to exist together. And are you with somebody that you continue to want to make the effort for? Does she make the effort for you? And that's the main consideration, because the reality is as you get older, the looks and the beauty are going to fade, things are going to sag, you're not going to have the same stamina that you have, and you're going to be left basically with, do you have a good relationship? Do you have a good friendship between the two of you? Do you enjoy spending time with her? Does she enjoy spending time with you? Do you communicate well? Do you get along well? That's super important. And but like if you've been multi years and you're still going, you really should learn what's in the book and apply it and get out there and date. Because if you're going to get married, really the only reason to get married is because you want to have kids and a family together, and that's part of your value system. And obviously, you want to make sure she shares the same values. If you're just going to get married but you don't want to have kids and she does want to have kids, because a lot of guys will stay in relationships longer until the woman basically gives them an ultimatum and then leaves. And then sometimes the women are going to resent you because you stayed past the time that they were able to have kids, and then they're not able to have kids with you. So you got to think about that. It's like, do you see yourself having children with her? Do you want her to be the mother of your children? Would she be a good mom? Would she be dependable? Would she be reliable? Would she be loyal and faithful? Does she keep her word? Is she honest with you? Is she a giver? Does she do things for you? Or is she more of a taker, that where you buy and you pay for everything, you take her out, and she hardly ever does anything, or never cooks you a meal, never buys you things, never takes you out to dinner or drinks, never really does anything to make you feel special. You want somebody that is a giver, because when you give to a giver, the giver gives back. So you want a woman who's easygoing, easy to get along with, and that you like listening to and you enjoy being around her. And at the end of the day, it comes down to, like, what does your gut, what's your intuition tell you? Especially if you've been in it for multiple years, and do you find yourself always looking around and going, man, that girl's way prettier than my girlfriend. I really like to have somebody like that. And versus like, my girl's beautiful, and yeah, there's other beautiful women out there, but I'm content with the woman I have. I don't feel like I got shortchanged, or I don't feel like I settled. Those are the kinds of questions you need to be asking yourself.
I also know, like you mentioned as well, when it comes to women, how at the end of the day, it's not about the looks, it's not about whether the guy has money, it's about how, like, the woman cares about how you make them feel. And I think it should work the other way around, especially with you, dude. Like, I have a quick story to tell you. So, like, a few
Well,
years
well,
ago,
the thing, the way it goes is you guys only care about how you feel
Mhm.
about a dude. He could be the best guy in the world and have everything on paper looks great, but if you don't feel the spark, if you don't feel the chemistry, doesn't matter. That's
I'm saying
what
it
that
should
comes
be the
from.
same for this guy as well. Like, if that spark isn't there, he should do something about it. I actually have a story. Back to my story. So a few years ago, I was actually with now my ex. We were together almost 3 years. I'm talking, we've been together and the relationship was serious to the point where we were even talking about marriage and moving in together. Um, Long story short, never ended up happening, but it was my first relationship, and I just never thought ever in a million years that I would ever break up with the first person I was ever with. And so what happened was, a few months prior to me breaking up with him, I actually did have a phase in my life where I wasn't sure, and I was actually questioning if he was actually the guy for me. But a part of me was like, I've been with a dude for almost 3 years, maybe I'm just thinking too much over something for no reason. But the point is, it took a lot of time for me to realize, and it is something that you can't just like, I feel personally that you shouldn't just jump the gun. You should really think it through. Really consider whether or not that spark is still there. Consider the time you spend with that person. Consider why, like, think why, like, ask yourself, why do I feel this way?
Well, in terms of that, because I know how you feel about that. Like after like we broke up when I broke up with my ex. I didn't realize how much it didn't work until months after. Until like I was like, wow. I was like all these things. I was like, how much time I wasted and he wasted that we never worked and I never saw because I was like. A lot of the times it's not the spark, it's you being comfortable with that one person. And it's things that you have shared together, and it's like you might not have the spark anymore, but it's the comfortability. You're used to being, around them and doing things together all the time. So when it's not there, it's not you necessarily there was a spark, it's just you missing the being comfortable and being around that person.
Yeah. But the comfort shouldn't have to be like the only thing that's pushing you back, like that's pushing you back, if that makes sense.
Not just comfortable.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
content with the girl? Does she push all your buttons? Does she check all the boxes? Do you feel like you won the lottery? Content meaning you're satisfied. You don't feel like you're missing out, or there's hotter girls out there for you, or there's other girls that you may know that if
But
you've
there's
got
always going to be someone
well,
that's
if you've
more
got
beautiful.
more chemistry with women that aren't your girlfriend, then yeah, that's obviously an issue. But so when I talk about being content, I mean satisfied. You don't feel like, because like when I was younger, I always felt like I didn't get the kind of woman that set my soul on fire. The how I thought I was going to be when I was younger, that it's going to be bliss and rainbows and unicorns and all that crap. And the reality is infatuation only lasts 6 to 12 months, but after that period passes, if the person's a really awesome person and your goals and your values align, do you still feel the desire to make the effort to make them feel loved, wanted, needed, and desired? And if not, if you're just going along, because we all know people that are just kind of going along with the relationship and yet they're not happy, and then when you finally do break up, everybody's like, man, it's about time.
Well, sometimes you like, I don't know, like you go to a wedding or something, and then it's like, oh, I guess we're back together. Like you were on the verge of like not being together because you just lost feelings. And then you go to somewhere where it's like romantic or, in that sentimental time. And it's just like, oh, you get the feelings back of being with that person.
If anything, it should be the opposite. You should have a wake-up call because you're at a wedding and you're seeing something that's
Seeing people happy.
real. No, but you're seeing like
Well, weddings aren't
people-
always real.
But that's
no, but I'm saying like you're seeing two people come together and make a vow to commit to one another, not having to have this imagination of you guys have to fix something to create something that is a facade and make something work from something that actually was not working.
That was back to what I was saying. It's like, ask yourself the question, why do I feel this way, especially about that person? There has to be something about that person that makes you want to even consider like breaking up with them. Like, why do you feel that way?
Well, that's where I was getting at. There were multiple weddings that I remember when I was with one of my exes, that I just looked over at him and I'm like, yeah, I cannot be weak. I cannot think that just because we're in this place and celebrating such like a matrimony and like, or celebrating love, I can't give in to the love around us and want to get back together with someone who is not good for me. It's not my person. With all the things that they've done, it's unsalvageable at that point. And I need something better for myself. So that's another thing that I feel like yes, it could be like what Jade is saying, like, okay, yeah, I want to get back together with the person because I love them and maybe it is working and the love will bring two people back together. But then there's the other side where, you're thinking with your head instead of your heart, and you realize that the two of you are actually not meant to be.
It's just like having kids as well. It's a very big move. Like getting married is a big move. Moving in together is a big move. Having children's a big move. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and in our society today, people are having kids before marriage, and I'm not going to really give my opinion on that. I think everyone to each their own, but I'm more of a traditional person, so I do believe in marriage before children. But whatever works for certain people, whatever makes them happy, whatever makes their relationship blend